Up until this point, we haven't shared every detail about our story and where we came from. We're not exactly proud of some of the things that we did in our past. Being vulnerable is never easy. If our story can help even just one person out there, one person, then this would be all worth it. So without further ado, my name is Brian, and here's a quick little story that my twin brother, Eric, and I went from being completely broke and lost teenagers to successful millionaire entrepreneurs living our absolute best lives. We were your typical kids in high school. We partied almost every single weekend with our friends without a care in the world. And honestly, it got a little bit out of hand. And looking back at it, I can see that we were just living for the weekend and not really thinking about our future transparently. We were lost and didn't really have any direction. And while our parents had high hopes for us, we just didn't know what we wanted to do with our lives. But we did know one thing. We were these natural born hustlers. I remember we used to have our little offline side hustles before online side hustles were even really a thing. We sold and flipped cars, we loaned out money to friends at a high interest rate, and we even flipped clothes and shoes for a profit. Now this is pretty hilarious. At one point, we even ran a Call of Duty clan of 15 members. I mean, this thing was a whole-on operation. We partnered up with YouTube and got paid about $1,000 a month to do this thing. I'd hop on COD, record clips, hire editors to put them together, and then we posted them online. I can't remember the exact figure because it was so long ago, but we ended up selling it for a few $1,000 profit. We always had this drive in us that loved the game of making money, whether we knew it or not. But despite our lack of direction, we continued partying literally every single weekend. You might be thinking, bro, it's okay. You guys were some kids in high school. That's what you're supposed to do. And sure, you might be right about that, but we always knew deep down that what we were doing just wasn't it. With all our little side hustles, we were still broke as hell, and we knew that we couldn't keep living the lives that we did. Some people might argue that we were too young to hit rock bottom, but that's exactly how we felt. And we knew we needed to make a change. So fast forward a couple years later to 2015 when we graduated high school. We suddenly felt this huge pressure, as every new high school grad does, to figure out our whole lives. Our parents had their own traditional plans for us, as a lot of you guys do. But the truth is, we had our own dreams, and a part of us was terrified to tell our parents that we had different plans. The thing was, we were lost, and we didn't know which direction to go in. We knew we had this drive in us to be entrepreneurs, but we didn't know how to get started. Literally zero clue. Up until then, our only track record was the few little hustles that I mentioned earlier. So just like any ambitious, albeit oblivious kids, the obvious answer to us was to learn business in college. We figured getting an education would help us figure it out, so we enrolled in marketing management and specialized in professional sales. All we knew was that salespeople made a lot of money, so we felt this was the right avenue for us to get educated in. Wolf of Wall Street, am I right? But in all seriousness, school just really wasn't our thing. The only thing that was good about college was the networking and being able to practice our communication skills. The curriculum was transparently really outdated. The professors were speaking from theory and giving us information from irrelevant textbooks that were a few decades past due. I mean, these guys had never even owned their own businesses. What could they have possibly be teaching us about running one? We just weren't learning the skills that we needed to succeed in the real world. Yeah, we were just some college kids, broke as hell, and it felt like we were going absolutely nowhere and fast. We knew it was time to get serious and start making some real moves towards our goals. You know, I guess one cool thing about college is it's really a great time to experiment. We were a couple of young, ambitious kids, and we had that irresistible hunger to build a business. I don't know if you can really relate, but we just hated the thought of being stuck in a job, making someone else millions of dollars instead of ourselves. We tried just about every business model, from affiliate marketing to social media marketing to dropshipping. And we actually made some money with these businesses, but not a lot. A few dollars here and there, but the truth is these business models came with extremely low margins, some of them with less than 5% margins, if not a loss. So despite loathing the idea of working a job, we gave in for a little bit and did it anyways. We found a job with a company selling internet and phone services door to door in northern BC. If it has to be a job, at least it was one in sales where we had some control over how much we made. That was our logic at least. But to be entirely honest with you, we sucked. We struggled so much at first, getting over 100 no's, knocking on door after door and getting rejection after rejection before we finally made our first sales. But after that first sale, something sparked inside of us and we started to catch like wildfire. Within the 3-month summer alone, we quadrupled any income we had ever made in our lives up until that point. And this made us realize that there's some damn good money in sales. And it was a turning point for us, and we knew that we were onto something. But we came to a realization. In order for us to truly get to that next level, we just knew that we had to get around the right people. People who knew what they were doing somehow and some way. That's when we made the decision to start spending our time around the right people who could help us achieve what we actually wanted. And we were still kids at this point, literally 18 years old at this point. So the first form of this came through self-education with things that we had access to. We got into personal development to strengthen our mindset. We honed in on our sales skills. We started reading books on success and business. We started listening to podcasts and audios. And of course, we studied the greats like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, and some of the other huge entrepreneurs. Really anything that we could get our hands on at that time. So fast forward, it's now 2017. We're fresh out of college, and this was actually when we discovered Amazon FBA. Actually, wait, that's not true. We actually found out about Amazon FBA in our last semester of college. I remember trying to get started, but we just got too caught up in wanting to make quick money. So naturally, we kept putting it off and we kept putting it off. But now, looking back, I honestly wish that we just put an end to that rat race a lot sooner than we did. We would have saved a ton of time. Like a lot of people, fear and doubt stifled us for some time. And I mean, geez, I specifically remember researching over 200 products and never pulling the trigger on any of them. So what do you think we did next? What any lost and confused college grad would actually do? We traveled halfway across the world on a journey of self-discovery. And of course, we hopped on a plane and went to Thailand to find ourselves and experience the life and the culture we had seen so many people do. This, I do not regret at all. In fact, if I could, I'd hop into a time machine and tell my younger self to travel even more, because right after this trip, we knew we were about to go back to our lives and enter the corporate world. Something that we dreaded because we knew deep down this wasn't the end game for us. But out of fear, we did it anyways. We got a job with a billion-dollar recruitment agency to become a corporate recruiter. By this point, we had stopped all the partying and the drinking. We pushed all the bad influences in our lives away, and we started working a cool 60, 70 hours per week, super casual. In 2018, our first full year in corporate, we hit our President's Club, becoming 2 of the youngest people. I actually think the youngest people to do this in the company within their first year. Not to toot our own horn, but because they saw how talented we were, we even opened up the door and paved the way for the company to start hiring young people. We proved that despite our age, people with the right attitude could actually outperform people with degrees and life experience. And even in fact, they didn't even require degrees after that point, because they realized that mindset, attitude, and determination was far more important, because that can be taught. So by this time, we had made multiple 6 figures in the couple of years that we were there. It was more money than we knew what to do with at the time, considering we were so young. But even with all that money, here's what our reality looked like. We had no life, we worked 70 hours a week, 6 to 7 days a week, but we knew deep down inside that we were destined for so much more. There was no way, zero possibility, that this was all there was to life. Guys, we literally started to burn out, and we were burning out real quick. Like real quick. And it wasn't long before we realized we had to go back to plan A. The original plan we had for ourselves was to build an online business so that we can claim back ownership of our lives. After failing to pull the trigger the first time from being in paralysis by analysis, like I know so many of you guys are in watching this, we finally started our Amazon business in 2019. Mind you, we were working 70-hour work weeks. So we worked on our business any chance that we possibly got. We're talking lunch hours, talking evenings. We tried to get at least 5 hours a week in order to find our first product. And by May of the next year, we actually ended up launching. And we did pretty damn good. We made $10,000 or just over $10,000 in our first month. But funny story, we also lost money on the first month due to some mistakes that we made with labeling and shipping our product. Why? The truth is, we didn't really have a mentor that we could necessarily, bang ideas off of. We had a course, we relied on YouTube, relied on blogs, but it wasn't anything solidified. Such a simple, stupid mistake that could have so easily been avoided. Now that I look back at it, it really wasn't the best way to approach growing an Amazon business. But hey, in hindsight, 2020 vision, and we made it work somehow. 2020 was a big year. It was the year that changed everything for everyone. The pandemic hit hard and businesses everywhere were struggling. But to our surprise, it was different for us. Our experience was almost the complete opposite. While business at our jobs was slowing down, our Amazon business was absolutely fucking flourishing. Working from home was a new experience, but it gave us a taste of the freedom that we had been craving for literally years. It was during this time that we made a pivotal decision, a decision that would literally change the course of our lives forever. After just 7 months, we were already making multiple six figures with Amazon FBA. And we realized that if we ever wanted a way out, now was the time to take the plunge into that absolute deep end. We knew we had to go all fucking in, so we did it. Quit our jobs in July of 2020. We had finally crossed 75K in sales in a single month, and we knew this was just the beginning for us. Our minds opened up, ideas started pouring in, life around us was bright again. We got our souls back after nearly having it taken away from us for multiple years. And we were finally free to pursue our dreams and focus all of our energy on Amazon. It was scary, but it was also very exhilarating. I just remember that day so clearly. So much weight had been lifted from our shoulders. The feeling's almost hard to explain. I remember thinking that simply making money wasn't the answer to everything. Money without the time to do what you want or live where you want was pointless. We were finally back in control of our lives and creating the future we had always wanted for ourselves. It was a defining moment for us and the best decision that we've ever made. We were no longer tied down to a job that didn't fulfill us. We were free to explore these new opportunities in life and live a life that set our souls on fire. And we did just that. We had finally achieved the success that we had always dreamed of for ourselves, but still, something was missing. It just didn't feel right, living the life that we had always dreamed of, while others were still slaving away at jobs that sucked the soul out of them. During the pandemic in 2020, an opportunity came up to coach students in some other Amazon coaching program. Long story short, Eric and I fell in love with that process. We got so excited seeing the light bulb go off in someone else's head, seeing the changes they could make in their life and their business, and shortly after began to ask ourselves, what if we could teach people how to do what we did as well? This is when a new flame ignited inside of us. There was this burning desire in us to make a difference in the world, to shift the traditional way of learning and teach people that there's a better way to succeed in life at the end of the day. That's when my brother and I started an FBA startup. We wanted to make a change in the world and make a real impact on people's lives, to show them that they can too achieve success beyond their wildest dreams. At the time of this video, we've already directed and impacted the lives of over 500 people, showing them the ropes of Amazon FBA and teaching them how to build their business from scratch. And we didn't just stop there. We had another huge year with our first Amazon FBA brand and decided to launch our second brand. We started giving opportunities to our old friends who we knew had a ton of potential but just didn't know what to do with it. It was a year of growth, of pushing boundaries and realizing that we didn't have to work anymore, but still choosing to do so. Today, we're building a legacy. These past couple of years taught us an important lesson, that impact is more important than anything. Focus on making an impact and money will always follow. To this day, we've managed and grown a team to over 30 people, and we were finally able to give back to our family in the Philippines and even hired some family members to be a part of our team. It's been a wild ride, full of ups and downs, triumphs and failures, but I wouldn't change a single thing. This journey has taught me so much more about myself, about what my brother and I are made of, and about the power of hard work and determination. It's taught me that success isn't just about the money, but the impact we can make on the people and the world around us. So if you're out there dreaming of success, of being, doing, and having more, I want you to know that it's possible. It won't be easy and it won't happen overnight, but if you're willing to put in the work, to push through the tough times, and to never give up on your dreams, then success is literally within arm's reach. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our story, and I hope it's given you a little bit, even just a little bit of inspiration to chase after your dreams with whatever you've got. If this has helped even one person out there who's struggling but knows they're capable of so much more, then everything we went through was worth it. Good luck.